Hey everyone. Today I want to discuss a topic that I think really hits home for me and maybe to a lot of us in the creative field. We all try to put out thoughtful, creative work, but sometimes it's tough to keep it up every day. I want to talk about a few of the things that can outright kill our ability to think creatively and do great work. There's probably dozens more of these than I have thought of, and we all probably have our own unique ones we fall victim to. But I'll get personal here and share a few of my own worst creative enemies, and hopefully it will help some of you avoid these little guys on your next big project. For me, fear and stress are the number one killers of creativity. Fear of rejection, risk, even tight deadlines. We all know what it's like to be up at 4 a.m., a deadline looming a few hours later with nothing to show for it but dozens of Illustrator files named with swear words. My best work doesn't come when I'm panicked. Sure, fear can motivate, but for me, it's only when I push past it that things work. Sometimes I gotta remind myself, if I keep at it, things have always worked out. Even when that's been at the last possible second before a deadline. Chances are my entire career doesn't hinge on this project right now. And besides, my illustration's probably not going to be saving lives or changing nations for the better, but it might end up on a shirt in a clearance rack at Walmart. So I am 100% not saying that we shouldn't put our best effort into every project. Of course we should, no matter what the project is. What I am saying is that lightening up tends to help the creativity flow. Music, listening to a comedian, whatever works for you. Sometimes we might feel comfortable in a defined process, with individual steps leading to the hoped-for, inspired outcome, but we can't force inspiration. That's for sure been my experience anyway. Regardless of any defined process, I've always noted that at some point, something magic, something creative and almost outside of me has to happen, and I just have to put in enough work to allow it to. And not just work. Sometimes it even includes failure, perhaps over and over a few times even. Getting inspired by other artists, especially the masters, is helpful. Seeing the way others have successfully handled balance, color, or typography can spark ideas that we may not have otherwise thought of, but like anything overdone, getting inspiration can also become a problem. There's of course a fine line between being inspired by and copying, but also the flood of inspiration imagery out there is a double-edged sword. It can become overwhelming, and I believe even dilute our ability to think freely. On occasion, inspiration diets are a good thing, I think. We see plenty of work from people out there who just make it look easy, as though everything they do is a home run. It's easy to get discouraged when we compare, and when we're not confident, we, or at least I, don't do my best work. But looking at others' work is like Facebook or Instagram. Everybody's only putting their best out there. We're not seeing the failures behind the scenes that led to the perfect finished product. Even the years of blood and sweat it took to get to that level. And chances are, someone feels the same way about your work. This is the big one. The atom bomb. Pride and arrogance, stubbornness. It's super annoying in others, but we're all like that sometimes. Maybe that client telling us to make the logo bigger is right, or maybe there is no right or wrong answer. Either way, clinging obstinately to our pride limits our freedom to learn or discover something new. Instead, be humble. Not unconfident, but rather confident enough to accept criticism gracefully. And that's not like some empty maxim. I've literally had some of my biggest breakthroughs when I've put my guard down enough to take criticism, even when I didn't agree with it. Way too often, I've seen how wrong I was only after following advice I didn't want. The strongest designers and illustrators that I know work hard on every project, giving attention to detail and putting in the effort to make original, well thought out work on every project. even ones that they know aren't going to win awards. I still don't think I have this one figured out yet, honestly. All I know is I'm pretty analytical, and I find myself way overthinking almost everything I do, usually making it more complicated than it needs to be. Researchers at Stanford University found that overthinking actually hindered creativity. One famous author seems to agree. Thinking is the enemy of creativity. It's self-conscious, and anything self-conscious is lousy. Ray Bradbury. Okay, don't overthink this quote either. I'm all for research and design thinking, and in fact, preach it when I speak at events. But at the same time, so much of what we do is intuitive. We have to be careful not to let our intellect trip us up or sterilize our work. We can be our harshest critics. Whatever we think people think, we're very possibly wrong. Whether we're overly timid or working solely to please award judges, either way, when we stop thinking about what we think others will think, we free ourselves to explore truly uncharted territory. Sure, we need to know when to call it quits, when an idea just isn't working, but I've tossed aside way too many good ideas because I get impatient or it isn't perfect yet. Some of my best ideas only revealed themselves after I worked an okay idea to its end. Okay, a little side note to this too. Also, wouldn't this video have been way better if all these little illustrations were animated? Yep. But then it probably never would have gotten made without a major change in my schedule. In the end, I think a little perspective helps. No matter how hard the project, how late the nights, or how frustrating the feedback, we still have one of the best jobs that there is. I feel like the pro snowboarders I used to be jealous of when I was young, getting paid to do what I would be doing anyway. We're all lucky to be doing what we love. So there you have it. Just follow my little list here and everything you do will come out amazingly every time, guaranteed. Thanks for listening. Hopefully this has been of some help to you. Please consider subscribing, and I'll try to have more content in the near future. Thank you.